Good afternoon. My name is Rosha Washington, and I'm taking Finance 451 this summer, and we're doing an investment analysis on the oil and gas industry versus the advertising industry. Here I have a presentation of the oil and gas industry. I'm going to be analyzing 5 different companies for both of the industries. The 5 companies I'm going to do for oil and gas is going to be Tidewater Incorporated, Halliburton, Gulf Milk Offshore, Hornbeck Offshore, and Seacar Holding Incorporated. The first company I'm going to start off with is Tidewater. This is just a little presentation to show you a little bit about the company and its history. As you can see here, the company was established in 1956, which shows that it's kind of a new company, so we're going to see how they did their numbers. The return on common equity. First of all, let me explain the term ROE. The ROE ratio is basically makes up about how much of the money that the company can provide to its shareholders, as far as in dividends or growth. So this graph is what I took from my numbers on my Excel spreadsheet. And this is from the years of 2008 to 2012 on how the company did. That's you're going to see a lot through this presentation. That's what the years I chose for all the companies. So all of these companies are being analyzed based on those 5 years. Okay, Tidewater, like many of the other companies in the oil and gas industry, weren't doing good at this time because I must say this was one of the better of the companies of the few. And since 2008, their ROE continued to decline, ending at a 3.468 ratio in 2012, as you can see here. Unlike other companies, their tax and interest burden were both the good points, and their operating margin was also doing well. The tax and the interest burden are the two things that kind of drove the ROE ratio to be as high as it is on this graph. As you can see here, the ROE kind of ratio was kind of low, but we don't want the tax burden or the interest burden to drive the ROE, because that means that the managers aren't really handling the money right, they're spending too much on the taxes, or the market is basically predicting all of their good outcomes. A little bit more about Tidewater. To me, all the numbers back balanced out. The ROE numbers weren't totally bad, but I can see why here. The leverage ratio was also good and at a constant. The economic value added was not good. All of the 5 years they declined constantly, missing the mark for the market. The economic value added is basically explaining how the company did well compared to what the market predicted. Like there's the net operating profit after taxes, which is what the company actually made, and then there's the invested capital that the company invested, and then the market predicts a price, and they multiply that and they subtract it to get the EVA, which is the economic value added. And over the 5 years, those numbers were horrible, as you can see on the next slide. As you can see here, I have a graph picture of the Bloomberg slab fertility. This is the EVA graph over here, and as you can see, their economic value added is a negative 602 million for that year. And on the right side of the page, you see the supply chain pages, but they only have 2 people that are suppliers from the organization, so which is not that bad. Next, I'm going to talk about Seacar. Now, this is another one of those companies where, like I said, a lot of the oil and gas industries didn't really do good as far as the EVA, but their ROE ratios weren't really that good also. This is the ROE ratio. As you can see, you're starting to see a trend with the companies at the beginning of the years between 2008 and 2010, because that was this was the time of the oil spill. As you know, the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, this is that time. That's why it's declined so drastically here. Seacar ROE ratio wasn't one of the worst, but it also wasn't one of the best. Their tax and interest burdens were pretty consistent and did quite well during the 5-year assessment, as we just showed with Tidewater. They kind of did the same thing. On the downside, the total asset turnover ratio was extremely low over the 5 years. Now, the total asset turnover ratio just explains how well they overturned their assets, within the 5-year ratio, like how well they managed their assets for the company. The management didn't make really good decisions in dealing with the company's finances. The total to debt ratios were extremely out of the budget, topping over 1,041,000 each quarter, which means that their debt ratio was just out of this world. They wasn't paying their long-term debt, and they wasn't able to afford their short-term liabilities. That is a good thing, but only when the company is taking just enough as it is to make sure that the company can handle it. Now, let's see how that affects the economic value added. Since they have a lot of debt, we're going to see on the next slide how it affected the EVA for the term. The EVA, as you can see, I have on the right-hand side of the graph for Seacar. Their EVA for the year 2012 was a negative 118 million. These numbers are listed in millions. As you can see, the total invested capital was $2,418,000, and the capital charge was 195.6. And their net operating present value was 77 million. So they didn't really do this good either, as though so all the all companies. The EVA was really bad compared to how the market felt that they should have done. The next company is Gulfmore. Gulfmore didn't do well compared to all the other companies with their ROE. In the past 5 years, starting off with a ratio of 24.0094, but falling into the negatives in 2010. As you can see, it's a drastic change in 2009. Now let's just see what was driving in 2008 that they didn't change and got them so low in the 2009 margin. I think the oil spill played a major role in the downfall in the current years, but let's just see and take a look at the other ratios compared to remain companies oversized. The company's ROE was driven by the tax burden all of the 5 years of my assessment. So as you can see here, even the little bit of ROE that they do have over the years, it was driven by their tax burden, which, like I stated before, which is just saying that the managers wasn't managing their money right, or the finances, or the assets, and putting them into the wrong places as far as the taxes and taking out too much debt for the company. Next. The economic value added for 2012, which was negative once again for the oil and gas industry, so it's not really looking good for them. It was a negative $123.06. And that was for the economic value added. And it kind of was pretty consistent throughout the other 5 years also. Hornbeck Offshore. Hornbeck, their RE ratios was the same as Gulfmore. You know, it started off pretty good in 2008. And like I said, you're going to see a pretty consistent trend through all of these oil and gas industries because they kind of based off the same type of market. And when one's doing well, they're all doing well. And when one's doing bad, they're all doing bad. So, like you said, they're played off in 2008. Let's see what's driving their RE ratios here. Like so many of the other oil companies after the oil spill in 22, their RE ratios drastically fell into the negatives, making it impossible for them to pay off any creditors or keep their shareholders happy. I did some further research and wanted to know what exactly was driving these numbers. To start off, their liquidity ratios didn't go over 4.0